Welcome back, everybody, to Spencer's Serenade. Today, we are joined by a wonderful guest, Dave Weiss, not of the Flat Earth Society and not the leader, just on the most podcasts talking about Flat Earth.
There you go.
So, for reference, there we tried this intro already, had some technical difficulties, but we're rocking and rolling now. It's a very exciting episode. Flat Earth is such a cool topic. It's one that really makes you question what is going on in this realm, Earth, spinning ball. Definitely not that, but it definitely makes you question things. So I'm very excited to have you on today and very excited for this conversation. So let's get into it.
All right, nice. It's the one topic, you can talk to people about fairies and goblins and demons, and then you just mention flat earth and they want to chop your head off. They're like, oh yeah, this and that. You can believe in anything. I'm not claiming any of them real or not real, but you mention flat earth, people just get triggered. It's amazing.
It is. It really is. It's the same, in the height of the thing that will never go away. It was like, okay, well, what if this is just the flu? And people are like, no, it's killing everybody. Oh my God. It's like, it's really not, though. You don't need to get so defensive about it.
Being a truther, because we're truthers, because we seek the truth. I love when people go, what are you, a truther? Like it's an insult. Like, what do you want to know the truth? One of the benefits of being a truther is you don't get myocarditis. Go figure.
That's true. What one other thing for the listeners, the audio listeners, make sure to jump over to the Patreon. This will be streaming for free. Dave is going to have a wonderful visual presentation that helps the conversation along pretty well. So if you want to tune into that, if you have the time, head on over to the Patreon. Link will be down in the show notes. So
and
anyway.
For those of you that think flat earth is stupid, I don't know what your audience is or how flat they are, but anyone that thinks it's stupid, all you need to do is come up with one globe proof. Just one proof. We live on a globe. Hey, you live on a globe? You should be a million proofs. All you need is one, and you win 3 Bitcoins.
3 Bitcoin. That's worth how much?
About like 90 grand, something like that. 80, 90 grand.
All right. Well, you heard them, listeners, viewers. If you can come up with one proof of the globe,
one proof
besides the globe that's in your classroom, that's not proof.
That actually is the best proof of the globe, the fact that there's a globe. That's it. But anybody, if you're in a store and you see globes, like Home Goods or a type of store that has globes, lift it up and look at the sticker on the bottom. It says not for educational purposes, for decorative purposes only.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy what they're lying about. But as we were getting into in the last introduction we tried was this people having a visceral reaction to flat earth, and it's like, oh, you're an idiot if you think that. And why does it matter? All these questions come up, all these retorts come up, and it's like, it does matter, because this is the basis of the rabbit hole you go down on. Okay, they're lying to me about flat earth or the shape of the earth, whatever the earth is. It might not be flat, it might be a realm, it might be hollow, it might be a donut, it might be on a turtle shell. Who knows? There's so many theories out there, but that's the basis on going down that rabbit hole of questioning everything else in your existence in this society, because you come to the terms with, okay, they're lying about the shape of the earth. Now what? They're lying about medicine. Actually, yeah, there you go. There's the turtle right there. But they're lying about medicine and how it's supposed to heal you, but it doesn't. It makes you sicker. They're lying about the food. It's supposed to give you energy and make you feel good, and it doesn't. It drains your energy. It actually takes more work for your body to try and digest these things it can't digest. And it's all just a false reality. It's a false matrix we're living in, and who knows what the actual truth is, but the questioning of it is the important part.
Have you guys ever seen, there was a video, it's no longer on YouTube, called the Covenant, the Secret Covenant, and it goes through, if it's basically the people that control the world. It's like, if I was the devil, I would do this, 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 and this, and this, and basically it just shows you all of the stuff. Oh, it shows you all of the stuff, how they would control humanity and everything it said. And it came out years ago, and it was put to a video probably in the last, I don't know, 5 or 10 years. Um, but it's everything that's going on now. Poison you with drugs, tell you, black is white and white is black, and just literally remove you from reality. And it's a great interview. I will put, it'll be it's on the website Stop Look Think. Just search the covenant, the secret covenant, it'll come up. Stoplookthink.com. Worth watching.
Okay.
It's like a 10-minute video.
It's crazy, man. It is. Everything is inverted.
Yeah.
And it's up is down is up, left is right. 4 plus 4 is 9. If you show your work, they're trying to destroy everything and have people not believe their senses, not believe their intuition, not believe what they're even told on a day-to-day basis, unless it's coming from this select group, this news station, or this media channel. Like everything else, throw it out the window. You can't trust that. Trust us. They've
hijacked everything, our reality, everything that all of our senses tell us. They tell us, don't trust your senses. Trust us, the non-sensors, right? Don't trust your senses. Just trust nonsense. This picture, you mentioned the turtle. For those of you that don't know, there used to be 13 months of 28 days, 364, and then 1 day to reset. And so the turtle has 13 tiles in the center and 28 around the outside. Is that a coincidence? Okay. Is that a coincidence? And then when you say they reverse everything, on the flat earth, we say down is down. Down is down for everybody. Down is down for us in South America, Australia. Down is the same down, but they want you to believe down is every way on a ball pointing towards the center. Okay?
Yeah.
And when you actually just put that into your mind and use your mind, you'll be like, this is kind of crazy. Like, I'm holding my phone here. Whoops, going to my focus there. There we go. Come on, there we go. I'm holding my phone and I'm pushing it up against the bottom of my hand. Now, my phone, let's say it weighs half a pound. So how much pressure, a minimum amount of pressure, do I need to hold it to the bottom of my hand?
Not very much.
Half a pound. If I put a quarter of a pound of pressure, I wouldn't be able to lift it up. Half a pound. If I had a 5-pound frying pan, 10-pound frying pan, I'd have to put 10 pounds of pressure to hold it up on the underside of my hand, right? Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the bottom of a ball, there's oceans that weigh trillions of pounds. How much pressure would you need to hold up trillions of pounds?
Trillions of pounds.
Trillions of pounds, okay?
Yeah.
But I could jump, butterflies can fly, birds, helium balloons go up. What's going on here? What's going on?
It is, yeah. You start thinking about those small little things, and it starts digging away at the paradigm that you've been given since you were a child. All these cartoons that present space, and they present the planets going around and around, and actually, who knows? I don't know what's going on with the luminary bodies in the sky. I don't even. So how would I know that? How would we know that? And the biggest thing for me was the moon missions and Bart Sibrel's documentary, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, because it all kind of came to me at the same time, where I heard you on quite a few podcasts talking about the flat earth, and then I watched his documentary, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, and I was just like, man, if you start thinking about this and picking away at it, it's like, okay, you have so many great points, Dave. And then Bart, okay, you are going around trying to interview these astronauts, and none of them will take your interview. They're all getting pissed off. They won't swear on the Bible. And he shows that footage of how they faked it, and you have that playing right now, a lot more in depth. That's pretty cool.
So Bart Sibrel, though, he's an interesting character, and I believe he is being used somewhat, but he's waking a lot of people up. So I'll give it to him. Bart Sibrel believes that astronauts went to space. He doesn't believe they went to the moon. He believes they photographed the moon and the Earth from space. When I believe nobody's ever been on a rocket other than Evel Knievel and Mad Mike Hughes, who tried to jump over a canyon, and Mad Mike killed himself. And then all of the news,
And
all of the world said flat earther tries to prove the earth is flat and kills himself in a rocket, which isn't true. He was a flat earther, but he was just trying to break the world record for a steam rocket engine jump, not to view, I mean, he went 1,800 feet up in the air. He can go on a building higher than that. He can go on an airplane.
yeah,
It's so stupid, but that was what the mainstream media still runs with. They still keep repeating and repeating crazy flat earther kills himself, right? So the fact that they're straw manning arguments out there, that they're lying about what we believe, oh, we're a disk floating in space. Whenever you go, on television, if CNN or somebody goes out there, they show nonsense. They show picture like this from the Flat Earth Society, which is a disk floating in space with water falling off. Nobody believes this. You know who believes this? Globe believers that think flat earthers are stupid believe flat earthers believe this. Okay, that's a long sentence, but that's what's going on. This is mind control. And I wanted to say earlier that the programming is amazing. They did such an amazing job. From birth, you have NASA sheets and mobiles of planets over your head, and then Sesame Street with astronauts and Disney with astronauts, and it's all space movies and everything. They're programming you so strong, so where I know when people first hear about this and they're having that visceral reaction, here's what they say. What about seasons? What about boats over the horizon? What about sunsets? What about what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. When we talk about the crazy motions of the earth, the spinning, the whirling, the twirling, then they're like, well, I could drink a glass of water on an airplane. I can go to the bathroom, right? And they don't realize that that's an impossibility. Okay, all of the motions. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, speeding up and slowing down the whole time. We're chasing at 500,000 miles per hour and moving sideways. So we're moving 4 different directions at once, and somehow everything is like a perfect clock. As a matter of fact, space, random gravitational objects flying through space in all different directions like a beehive is more accurate than any watch on Earth because all of the watches on Earth are set to space.
Yeah. It's so it's a topic that's so hard to talk to people about because you do get that visceral reaction. And recently, I haven't cared as much about that judgment, but for a while there, I know how hard I judged the flat Earth people. I think it was maybe 2018 or 19. Netflix released that flat Earth documentary. I'm sure you've seen it, where they're basically just bashing flat earthers and making them look stupid. And my friend and I watched it. We're like, oh, I can't believe they believe that and blah, blah, blah. And then as I kept, there it is, right there. As I kept digging more and more into conspiracy, it was like, man, I was so judgmental of that, but it was a hit piece. And I made that realization. I'm like, that was a hit piece for sure. They were making them look foolish.
Well,
there is some good points.
They did tell a story in there, and and it was interesting. But then they took 2 segments out of context. Literally, I can take what we've said so far and make you guys look like Globers if I edit it properly. Okay, I can edit it, just change it, and that's exactly what they did. And it's very deceptive, and there's nothing, They kept all the footage. They promised to give us the footage because we were doing this experiment. They're like, hey, we'd like to come. We'll film it for you. And if doing these in-field experiments, it's a lot of work. There's miles in between people and equipment and batteries and cameras and testing and lasers and everything. And they're like, oh, hey, you film it. That's great. And you'll give us the footage. Yep. And at the end of it, it's like, oh, sorry, we can't give you the footage. Because if they gave us the footage, we could show the other half showing that they just took it out of context. And we actually prove the earth is flat, not actually in my mind definitively, but it wasn't clear enough, right? Everybody in the on set was flat earthers or globe earthers or questioning people. Everybody walked away going, yeah, it wasn't conclusive enough to determine anything. But if you had to say which way was it was leaning towards flat. Okay.
Yeah.
But, again, I was able to bring this up so quick because again, I know what the programming does. I even know what flat earthers say, right? Because it's put out there in a way where everybody goes to that. Like there was a guy that was on one of my favorite radio shows, podcast is Veritas Radio.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And this guy was he talked about demons and Nephilim and all of this stuff, and about how these archons or whatever are trying to take over the world and the reset. Everything he's saying I resonated with. He's right on, except he has it in a heliocentric model. And I want to, and so I've been on Veritas Radio many times, and I had Mel connect me with him, and I said, hey, I know I basically introduced flat Earth to him. I said you should think it's absolutely ridiculous, but if you give me 20 minutes of your time, I'll show you the world from a new paradigm, which only makes your work more powerful. It makes it more relevant. It makes it more possible. It makes it more understandable. Everything was perfect. And the only response I got from him was a link to a Professor Dave video. Literally, he Googled flat Earth. That came up. He watched it. And even in my email, I said, if you go online, they're going to feed you propaganda and they're going to make you laugh at this. Give me 20 minutes. Couldn't do it because of the programming. And he's like, not interested. Amazing. Yeah. Amazing how powerful the mind control is.
It's insane how refined they have the mind control programs. It started in the 40s, possibly earlier than that. I'm sure they were doing it somewhat in World War I, but that they have it so refined now where it's as soon as something comes on, that it's going to be some sort of programming. Any mainstream news, it's like whatever story is being put out, they've thought about every single word that goes into that, every single picture they're going to show, and how it's going to create whatever reaction they desire in the mainstream population.
It's amazing. Like, their spokesmodels, their spokesman, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who doesn't even know anything. He knows nothing, right? And Bill Nye, the lion guy with the bow tie. They say there's no reason to ever talk to flat earthers because the conversation doesn't need to be had. And then literally they're programming that. I don't know if you know who Jim Fetzer is. He's a bulldog in the truth community from 9/11 and the moon hoax to everything, but he cannot see flat earth. And he was doing a flat earth discussion, a debate with another glober. So him and his co-host hate flat earth, believe in the globe, and so they're doing their own debate on flat earth, strawmanning the crap out of us, not listening to anything I've ever told them. And they said at the beginning, I'll debate anyone on any conspiracy except flat earth. It's not worth talking about. Boom, they've been programmed by Neil deGrasse Tyson and the rest of them. Flat earth.
Yeah.
What did Obama say? We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Obama said that several times during his speeches. Okay. What is that? That's programming people to say, don't even give flat earthers the time of day, because if you do, it ain't going to work out so well. That's why because if you give us the time of day, you will be a flat earther, period. Okay. That's it. And the reason you will be is because you're using your mind. You're looking at things that they don't want you to see. The fact that they hide everything, you can Google flat earth proofs, flat earth horizon tests, flat earth boats over the horizon, flat earth laser tests, and the same videos will come up every time. All propaganda. The guys they have propped up, you have, not Professor Dave, or I call them failed musician Dave. You have Lyman Dan. You have this new guy who used to be, getting 2,000 views a video doing camera stuff. And then he started lying about the globe, and he's getting hundreds of thousands, and he's making thousands and thousands of dollars in YouTube money. So people do this for money. Okay. Mm-hmm. We get accused of doing it for money. There's no money in flat earth. There's none. There's none. And wait, full disclosure, I have this app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's $3. Okay. I'm the only one making money, but this money goes right back into the app. I have as much money as everybody else, which is none. It's all going into the app because the app is the way to bypass the censoring, right? Like that's what I wanted to ask you. You got into flat Earth in 2018, you said? And
around there, it kind of progressed from there.
Bart Sabel, and then you saw me, and then you still found out some other stuff. How'd you find?
Yeah, so it was I think it went you on Tinfoil Hat, and then I think they had Bart on Tinfoil Hat.
There you go.
So it's just kind of a progression on getting into that. And I had watched that doc uh, prior to hearing you and Bart talk about these things. And so from there, on my conspiracy journey, it was just like a bunch of different things at once. Because full disclosure, 2018, I found Tinfoil Hat thanks to Dan, and I basically went through their entire backlog. I listened to, I think
Nice.
they were at.
Sam's the best. So we had Sam. We do a couple of virtual conferences every year.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam on the not the last one, but the one before, he was our closing act. He did some comedy at the end of a 2-day conference, and it's hysterical.
Nice.
The guy's great.
Yeah,
but Sam gets it. Eddie Bravo gets it. You know, there's so many bigger names that are coming up. Stu Peters. You know, if you know who Stu Peters is, flat. Okay, you got Peggy Hall in the truth, and you know, there's a whole bunch of doctors, you know, and health people, health freedom people. They're all flat earthers. Okay, they're truthers. They're flat earthers. And more bigger and bigger names are coming out. James English in the UK, one of the biggest podcasts over there, flat now. And then on Blaze TV, you have the morning show. What the heck's his name? Gap. I'm just spacing on his name for a second. But he had me on, and he actually was like, wow, blown away, and made a whole bunch of videos out of the longer video. I made it's Steve Gray. Steve Gray. I'm spacing on his name, but that's all right. But if you ever want to find my interviews on the app, you just hit the web button, and then you go to interviews, and you scroll down, and these are all of my latest interviews, and it's Pat Gray show right here. Bam, Pat Gray.
Okay.
And
what's your app called again?
It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Long name, okay? But all you have to remember is flatearthdave.com, and that'll take you to all my stuff. If you have a show and you want to book me, go to flatearthdave.com, click book Dave. You want to take the crash course, you want to get the app, you want to find my channels, find all my TikToks and all the good stuff. It's all there. My podcast called the Flat Earth Podcast, it's there. And there's all sorts of stuff. There's watch faces. If you want to download a flat Earth image for your watch, we've made some there. All sorts of resources. That's what the thing I wanted to say is, back when I became a flat earther, 2014-ish, you search flat earth, you find a video, wow, and then YouTube says, oh, check out these videos. All good, relevant stuff to what you're watching. Now, if you send somebody a flat earth video because they didn't find it themselves, they'll watch it, and the next thing that'll pop up will be a debunking video. Horrible.
Yeah.
They speak in like their English accents or Australian accents, and they talk condescending, like, how stupid are you for thinking that we live on a flat stationary plane, like all your senses tell you, and not a corkscrewing heliocentric, scientifically impossible space water ball surrounded by air adjacent to a vacuum. Okay. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Yeah. It's like people go 2023 and they're still flat earthers. It's 2023, and I can't believe anybody believes we live on a spinning ball. It's because we were never taught how to think. We were taught to memorize and regurgitate, and those that do it best become the teachers of the next generation.
Yep. Oh, and the big point is the heliocentric model is fair in comparison to the longevity of human history. I mean, what, 200 years, somewhere around there, we've been going by the heliocentric model. Before then, it was all flat. It was biblically, oh, we're in a terrarium, basically. And then you always hear interviews of people right around the turn of the 1900s. Oh yeah, they taught us flat Earth up until 1920 or whatever it was.
So you saw my interview with Ruth.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of interviews like that.
Yeah, so Ruth is a woman. She was 102 years old in February 2020, and she has her total wits about her, totally aware. And I was talking to her about the World's Fairs because she had been to the World's Fair in New York. And
that's awesome.
And she's talking about how it was all lit up. It's the first time she's seen electrically lit, place. I don't think she had electricity in her home. And she said it was just amazing. But she was so with it. I asked her, what they taught her in school about the Earth, and they never mentioned flat Earth to her. And she goes, "Oh, they taught me the Earth was flat," but then years later they changed it. And they were teaching flat Earth here into the 1950s, early 1960s. They were teaching both, right? So science classes were teaching flat and globe. We're not sure. We're not sure, right? we're not sure. But but they want us to believe. 2,000 years ago, Aristophanes figured it out with sticks and shadows, and that's nonsense, absolute and total nonsense. In 1927, Universal Pictures had a spinning globe. Amazing. Right? South America, they got a beautiful spinning globe. Okay. And no one had ever been into space. So how did they know what it looked like? All right. 1927. And then 1972, this is one of the first pictures of Earth. And they show us the exact same thing, just colorized. Okay. What's going on? What's going on there? What the hell is going on?
It's I didn't even realize that was the logo back then.
Yeah, 1927 they came out with this. And that's what they do. Arthur C. Clarke said, "I envision boxes falling around the Earth." Okay? Boxes falling around the Earth, right? That the Earth is corkscrewing through space. But somehow there's going to be a box held down by gravity that's falling around the Earth, staying over the same piece of land. So as the Earth turns, it's falling, staying right above it while we're corkscrewing, changing directions, curving, speeding up and slowing down. And somehow this box is going to send signals and phone calls and television and everything while we're doing this. Okay?
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, all of a sudden they come up with satellites. And everybody forgets about the Loran system, which is basically what do you mean, basically? Loran system, for those of you that don't know, it's a tower-based coordinate system, and it shows you where you are in a longitude and latitude, X and Y axis. It shows you where you are. All they did was put over nice, pretty pictures over that and showed you where you were on a pictured map instead of a numbered map. Okay, and they said it's GPS. It said it's satellites in space. Satellites are ridiculous. Absolute insanity to believe in satellites.
Yeah, so what you just brought up was something I actually wanted to get into, a point of just the fallacy of it, where it's if we were spinning like this model is showing, wouldn't you be able to go in a hot air balloon or a helicopter, take off, hover for half an hour or whatever, and land at your destination if you just go straight up and straight down?
Dude, don't you know that gravity holds on to all of the air molecules? Gravity holds the air and spins it with the Earth, but a summer breeze can blow the air left and right and up and down, and no problem. But gravity is spinning, and you think about it, as you get higher off the Earth, that air has to go faster because it has to make a bigger circle, right? So it's got to speed up. So we've launched balloons. How about this? The Red Bull jump. Everyone's like, "Oh, about the Red Bull jump," right? He launched in New Mexico, was up there for 3+ hours. The Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour. He's in there's no atmosphere up there. Okay. He should have landed a couple thousand miles out in the ocean, but he landed east of where he took off. Well, he outran the spin of the Earth somehow. He got up, would have to speed up, have to gain forward speed just to maintain his above position, but somehow he went even faster and landed in front of where he was. The Earth spins to the east. He should have landed in the west, but he landed east of where he took off. Okay, people, what happens is people try to work that out, and it's kind of like 3-dimensional thinking. And they weren't taught to think like that. And they're like, "I can't figure it out. Therefore, I have to allow a guy in a bow tie and a lab coat because they know that I have to just defer to them. They figured it out. That has to be. The reason you can't figure it out is because it's ridiculous, because it's not figure outable. Okay. How about this? The SR-71 spy plane. Okay. It goes like 2,300 miles an hour, whatever it says. And at that rate, over the size of the Earth that they tell us, it would have to descend 80 stories, as much as an 80-story building. The Twin Towers were 110. 80 stories every second just to follow the curve of the Earth. That's how fast it goes. The Earth would drop away 80 stories per second. Okay? Per second. When your mind short circuits and goes, doesn't make any sense. You're right. It doesn't make any sense. But that's what the globe math says. Okay? 80 stories, 800 feet per second. You can't even fall that
ridiculous.
fast. I don't think you can even fall that fast.
No. Okay? Well, what they tell us is negative 9.8 meters per second squared.
Yeah.
So that's the pull of gravity. I don't think you'd need a very, very dense object to get it to fall that fast.
Yeah. Let's talk about gravity for a second because 9.8 meters per second, that's just an average. It's not always true. During electrical storms, things fall at different rates. And if you ever watch somebody get, a lightning strike, what happens when lightning strikes? Things go flying in the air. Well, what did it do? Did it cancel out gravity or did it cancel out something else? There's two forces, that supposed forces. You got gravity, but you have to make up 96% of it with dark matter and dark energy because it doesn't work unless that exists. Therefore, it has to exist. That's retarded. Okay. Then there is the electrostatic force, which can be tested and measured and proven. The Earth is neutral or negative charge, depending on how you want to classify it, and everything above the Earth is in a positive charge. So positive and negatives attract. The Earth isn't moving. So I hold something up, it falls down. Something with a light element will fall at a certain pressure, but like a piece of lead is heavier because it has a higher positive charge. And if you look at the periodic table, everything that gets heavier has one more proton or whatever, a positive charge to it. So the higher the positive charge, the heavier it is. So we can manipulate that. We could add positive charge to something, it gets heavier, and we put a negative charge on something and it flies. Okay, right? You guys have seen the silent drone, right? This is from MIT. It's a drone, no moving parts, just changing its electric potential, and it flies. No sound. Maybe a little hum, if anything. No moving parts. What? And it flies because they've kept a negative charge in it, because it's converting the air. It's putting a negative charge around itself, and it flies. Okay? So here's the thing.
So an anti-gravity craft.
Well, it's electrostatic. If you look at, like backward, reverse engineered stuff from aliens or whatever, it could be from extraterrestrials, from the extraterra. But it's advanced technology. I believe that was here in the 1800s. There was a way more advanced civilization here in the 1800s, just so you know. Okay?
Yeah, Tataria type of stuff.
Yeah. But Tataria is just a name. I call it old world, because who knows, what they call the whole thing. Tataria, it's on the maps, it's everywhere. But that triggers a lot of people. So I just say old world technology. Okay, so the electrostatic force can be tested. We can make things go up. We can make things go down. We can manipulate their weights. And it's provable, scientifically testable, provable, repeatable, but nothing has ever proven gravity. If you believe the old experiment some guy did where he put two lead balls in his barn and looked at it through a telescope and they attracted each other. There's so many things wrong with that it's a ridiculous experiment. And since then, no university has ever been able to recreate it. Okay. So, and with that, he figured out the mass and the weight of the Earth. It's such a stupid story. But so let's just pretend gravity is real. That's a big pretend. And we know the electrostatic force is real. The science that tells us the Earth is a globe, the scientists say that the electrostatic force is 10 to the 36 power stronger than gravity. 10 to the 36 power. Do you know what that number is? It's incomprehensible. Okay. So think about this. Are you guys sitting next to each other? Are you in different rooms? Okay.
We're
Spencer,
right next to each other.
Spencer, punch him in the arm, not too hard. Punch him right now. Okay. Now, if you did it 10 times harder, would that hurt? Maybe a little bit, right? That was a pretty light punch. Okay. How about 1,000 times harder? Would you go flying off your chair?
Yeah, I'd probably snap my arm.
What about 1,000,000 times harder? Would you go through the wall?
Yeah.
Okay. What about 1,000,000,000 times harder? Would you explode like a nuclear bomb if they were real? Who knows? What about 1,000,000,000,000 times harder? You can't even calculate what that is. That's 10 to the 15th. And they tell
Hmm.
us
Wow.
that the electrostatic force is 10 to the 36 power stronger. It's like if you dropped a penny and the force that it hit the ground was 10 to the 36 power than actually dropping a penny, it should blow up the whole earth. Okay. That's what that number
Yeah.
is. That's what that it should leave a crater bigger than the diameter of the earth. Okay. I mean, it's so stupid, but they want us to believe that. I don't believe that's true at all. You know what? It the electrostatic force is 10 to the 36 power because gravity is really nothing. So it's got to be maybe gravity. Maybe there's like the tiniest of force, and they're actually telling us the truth, like the tiniest attraction, which wouldn't account for anything, and you need it to be 10 to the 36 power stronger. That's interesting. I got to think about that. But it's so
Yeah.
stupid. So again, gravity is a made up stupid theory. Electrostatics are real, testable, repeatable, provable, and that's it. That's all I got to say
So
about
so
that.
what do you think about the electromagnetic universe theory then?
What do you mean? The you mean the Thunderbolts project?
I haven't heard of the Thunderbolts project, but just the theory that actually electromagnetism is the force that holds everything
It
in
is.
place and not
Yeah, yes.
okay.
Everything has electrostatics. Everything.
Okay.
Everything without exception has an electrostatic charge to it. So everything applies there. We are electric, okay? We're electric beings. We have electricity in our body, okay?
Hmm.
There's all sorts of energy. There's electricity coming out of the ground. We are part of the system. I don't believe that people can survive um, up too high. I don't even know how high you can get. We're trying to think. We think like 72 miles is where the firmament may become viscous, if you will, or plasmatic, or even solid. I'm not sure. I don't know because we can't go up there. But when I was a kid in the 60s, they were doing tests, or pilots were doing high altitude tests, and they were actually letting them be interviewed on the news when we had 3 television channels. And some of the interviews were saying, guys were like, I couldn't see. I could see through my eyes. I could see through my eyelids. I passed out. I couldn't think properly. All of this stuff. I think that if we are part of this Earth system, that's just me.
Well, I
Could
mean,
be wrong.
if you think about it, just like anything, you have an extension cord plugged into whatever. Well, what happens when that extension cord gets unplugged from the outlet?
Yeah. We,
And what people don't understand is plugs have a positive, a negative, and a ground.
yeah.
That's what we are. We have positive and negative running through us, and we're grounded by being on the earth constantly.
Right. Grounding is
You
a
take that
very
any
good.
you take any of that away, and the circuit's incomplete. So that's just a way to think about it. Like you
I
wouldn't be
get
able
it.
to go up there because you can't complete the circuit.
Everything, they have us wearing leather or rubber shoes, right? We're not grounded anymore, right? I'm
Yeah.
barefoot all the time, even in the winter sometimes. Always underground. That's why you feel so good at the beach with your feet in the sand. You go swimming in the salt water, you get that electricity. It's all being in nature. Again, everything's inverted. They laugh at tree huggers. You should hug trees. There's lots of energy
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everything they tell you is the opposite of what could set you free, right? Why does it matter? Because if you don't know where you are, who you are, what you are, the power that you had, the resources that are available, you'll just sit there and go, government, please take care of me, control my mind.
Mhm.
Yep. So going back to the electromagnetic universe theory, one theory that's put out there with that is that our planets or luminary bodies, planets, the luminaries that are in the sky were in a completely different configuration, 2,000 years ago or so, when the Garden of Eden was a thing. So what have you heard of that? What do you think about that? Possibly being differently configured, and an electromagnetic storm popped up and kind of blew everything to bits.
I don't believe any of that. I think that this Earth was created and the fixed stars have always been the fixed stars. They tell us that Polaris was not always our North Star. We're moving. We're moving 1 degree every 76 years. And And 2,000 years ago, we had Thuban was our North Star. Okay, but we just happened to live at the time where Polaris is lined up with our North. Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're wandering through. Our pole is wandering through space, and we, in all of our recorded history, happens to be the time where we're pointed at Polaris. You guys know about the Georgia Guidestones, right?
Yep.
So the Georgia Guidestones, when you look through the center stone, there's a hole. It lines up with Polaris. Bam. Okay. The North. So there's this whole monument, and again, what's on the monument? It was, 10 commandments. So basically, for never let the world population rise over 500 million again. That's weird, right? Okay. And
weird they got blown up.
Yeah. And we're spinning. We're moving 186 million miles across the sun every year. We're corkscrewing through space, but somehow Polaris is so far away that all of that movement, 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before. There's no parallax because it's so far away. Again, if you do the rational thinking and understanding, I wouldn't be able to see Polaris if it was a fraction of that distance. This light would not be as bright. All of these things. But they can't get away with the precession that, hey, we're precessing, 1 degree every 76 years, I think, 76 or 72, whatever it is. And a degree in the sky is like is like 3 moon widths, or even if it was 1 moon width. But the Georgia Guidestones were up for over 40 years. Now there's a hole in the pyramids that point towards Polaris, but they claim it used to point towards Thuban, okay, when they were built. But we just happened to live at the time where it looks at Polaris, right? When the Guidestones were built, they were pointed at Polaris. Well, it moved a half a degree already. That's a full moon width, at least. And it should have been out of there. So there is proof. You can't say it was Thuban. It was built for Polaris. We've precessed. If precession's true and it's still there, that proves the Earth is stationary. Bam. Oh, a weird terrorist blew it up. A terrorist blew up the Georgia Guidestones, and within a couple of hours, there was a wrecking crew there to knock the entire thing down. No investigation, no forensics, nothing. The construction crew was there the same day to knock the whole thing down, and the time capsule that was there went missing.
It's frustrating, but it's also like it's empowering. It's frustrating, but it's empowering because they wouldn't have to be doing these things if people weren't catching on, if people weren't waking up.
Yeah.
So that's what's empowering about it is this panic.
Yeah.
This panic that they're in and trying to cover all this up and like, oh my God, we were too brazen. That they're catching on. And all the cleanup crews that have to come in and clean whatever mess it might be up. It's right. So frustrating, but damn, it's empowering because
think about this.
It gives me hope.
We're on this spinning, whirling, twirling beehive, crazy gravitationally, like the gravities don't affect each other. Wouldn't like Jupiter, which has more gravity than all of the other planets combined. Jupiter made out of helium and hydrogen that doesn't affect gravity here on Earth. Forget that. Jupiter's made of helium and hydrogen, and it's so much of it that it's more gravitational energy than all the other planets. When all the planets line up, including Jupiter, how come it doesn't tug on the Earth or the moon or the sun? Or how come there's no tugging? Like put magnets around each other. They're all tugging at each other, and one of them moves, the whole thing explodes. Okay? All of this is going on, and we could have a monument like this. Every year on November 11th at 11:11 a.m., the sun goes through these holes and lights up this emblem on the ground. Okay? It's a war memorial. Not that I agree with that. But every year, all of that movement's going on. And every year, the sun at the exact same moment lights up this emblem on the ground. The reason you can't figure it out is because it's stupid and it's impossible. And your brain knows that, but they've taught you to go, you know what? I don't have a degree in solar movements and astronomy and astrophysics, so I'm not qualified to use my common sense and say, yeah, that is impossible. Okay? It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and it's
I want to bring
from
back
such
a
a
word.
young age.
I want to bring back the word retarded. Okay, it's fucking retarded.
Yes, it is absolutely retarded.
Yeah.
And it, like Sam Tripoli says, I'm not using that word against people with disabilities or special needs. It's like that is the most retarded idea. And how I look at that word is what's a flame retardant? It's something that repels flames.
A
Well, what's a
retard.
retard?
Yeah.
Is someone who repels knowledge.
When you
or
retard
information.
something, like an engine, you slow it down. Okay.
Yes.
You stop it from progressing. Right. And the people that believe in the globe are retarded by definition. Okay. I was retarded, but I was able to move forward. I was able to open my mind based on new information. You can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make him think, but you can make him drink. Okay. It's weird. Right. We've been programmed. Every cool movie, every cool television, series, like Mad Men and James Bond. What are they doing? They're drinking all the time. They're drinking everywhere. In offices, they're drinking all the time. And they're drinking like hard liquor. It's all programming to dull our senses. Okay?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Speaking of movies, I will say some of the space movies that are out there, fucking killer movies. I mean, they are sweet.
But you're looking at them from a whole new paradigm now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's crazy because they go so gung-ho. Like, if I had to compare movies, and I think a lot of people would agree, it's like the quality of movies is space movies or alien movies are at the top. Like, they spend the most budget on those and the most time making sure the CGI looks good, and
they spend more time making the CGI look good than NASA. NASA has so many screw ups.
It's true.
Their CGI is the worst. It's absolutely horrible.
Those videos are hilarious.
The people are literally in love with they're in love with space. Okay, they're in love with the idea of other planets and other worlds and aliens coming here. And I was too. Star Wars, Star Trek. I grew up on Star Trek. It was the best, right? Okay. And when people think, oh my God, flat Earth takes away all that, I can't look at that. I'll lose all my space fantasies, right? Space fantasies are fantasies. Okay. The closest star is 25 trillion miles away. And there's 100 billion stars with countless planets in our galaxy, they tell us, and then other galaxies. Okay. But if we were lucky enough to have an advanced civilization at the closest star, which is, in the heliocentric realm, and they could travel 100,000 miles an hour, which is it's unconceivable. It would take them 28,000 years to get here, or us to get there. 28,000 years. Okay. People have no idea how far 25 trillion miles is, right? A trillion seconds is 31,000 years. Okay. So if you can go a mile a second, which no one's ever gone that fast, it would take you 31,000 years to get 1/25th of the way to the closest star. Okay. And then they're going to get here and they're going to crash in Roswell. Okay. When the truth is, I think they're coming from the ponds beyond, right? From the ponds beyond our world, right? You guys are familiar with the Nos Confunden map?
With a bunch of craters.
I call it the pond map. This guy right here, right?
Yeah.
So we live here, in the center of this pond, and then this is some extra terra, other civilizations here at our pond, but then there's other ponds, right? It could be Lemuria, Mars, whatever. These are other ponds, and they're just, I don't know if this is how many thousand, what do they say today? Let's say this is 25,000 miles across. So the other pond, 50,000 miles away. 50,000 miles away, that's nothing, right? A whole nother world, 100,000 miles away. And then you zoom out and there's more and more and more. Now I'm not saying this is the case. I kind of believe that this is a good possibility, but that's just me. Anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is up for grabs, but there's lots of evidence, lots of stories, lots of books, lots of evidence that there is more land. And people say, well, there can't be more land. Japan just found 7,000 new islands.
Yeah, that was crazy. It's like, what? How? I thought we discovered everything. Yeah. We just found 7,000 more islands. Where were they hiding?
Yeah. So,
real quick,
go ahead.
When you were showing that map, something I wanted to bring up during this conversation too was the um, overlay of the moon when you make it opaque or see-through.
Yeah.
It lines up with our continents very well. And when you were showing that map, it was kind of making me think, what if the other luminaries are doing the exact same thing? What if we're just in a very, very big terrarium and we're seeing the reflections of, like you said, Mars over here, and that's what we see up in the sky, and Jupiter over here, but that's actually what their land looks like.
So you're talking about the
I
moon
don't know.
map. You're talking about the moon map, right?
Yes, yes.
And
But
and
the moon map being showing extra land that isn't that we aren't shown on our globe, our quote unquote globe. So
no,
that's a very interesting thing.
yeah, I got you. The moon map is interesting, and again, it it is something worth looking into because there's too many coincidences. The way I look at it is everything is fractal in this world. Well, the earth
Mm-hmm.
and the humans and the land and the fish and everything were all part of the same system. So if the moon didn't have any similarities to the earth, I think it would be kind of weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of weird. So I don't know what that is there. You know, a lot of people that take it a step too far. They're like, oh, this looks like that. Well, it doesn't look like that. But then there's other people that, you know, they are looking at it and, you know, change the water levels and change the way you convert the map, you know, the Mercator map. And it lines up pretty damn good. On the app, where would it be? It would be under, I don't know, where is it? Under maps? Somewhere on the app. There's a video that breaks it down. It's on the Taboo Conspiracy channel if you look for it.
It's so fascinating though, because I see videos of people doing that, overlaying the moon on what our Earth would look like if it was flattened out, you know, the UN map, and they just mess with the opaqueness of the moon picture, and
Yep.
it's spot on. And then there's extra land, and it's like, okay, well, what's this extra? Everything else lines up perfectly, so why is this extra here? It really makes you think.
Yeah, I'm trying to why you're talking. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So this is what you're talking about. So this is the moon contrasted out. These are all of the craters, right? And here we are, and here's our sun. This is our land. And on the great year, the precession takes 26,000 years. So in 13,000 years, this circle, which would be the shoreline of Antarctica, this white circle, would be over here. So these would be the lands that, and then this would be an ice age over here. And then 13,000 years later, we're back. So this moves around. Here's our North Pole, and our North Pole is migrating around here, and it takes our sun and moon with it. It takes our sun and moon with it. Okay.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So as the North Pole moves, this is the inhabited land, and right now this green is where we are. And so these are all of the ages that we would be in as it goes around. Now, if you look at you guys know about the Prague clock? This clock, you've seen this, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is like one of the oldest clocks in the world, if it's not the oldest. It's showing that, and it has all the movements that show it, and it literally is showing that exact same thing. And we know that they knew more than we know. I mean, if you look, if you go looking, if you go down the old world rabbit hole, it's bigger than flat Earth, but it is part of flat Earth.
Bigger.
Yeah, it's part of flat Earth. On the app, if you go to the web button, which is the more resources button, and you scroll down, we got Lost History Tartaria, I call it. There's tons of great videos there, right? You got biogeology here, giant trees. Have you looked into giant trees? Have you watched Stellium 7?
No, I have not, but I have looked into giant trees.
So watch these videos here. Bring food and water. Don't believe anything. Verify everything. Okay? Just look at it and open your mind to transmutation, to, and people say, there were no giants. Well, I think that I think that giants existed, and the giants had giants. And so when I say giant, somebody, I don't know, 20, 30 feet tall, those were the normal people. And then there was giants that were miles tall. Okay. Crazy. And now we're small. So It's not that there was giants. We're just really small, maybe. I don't know. But there's no question that there was giants. There's videos of there being giants. Okay? There's videos of giants in the 1800s walking among the people, getting fitted
There's videos of giants today.
Yes, they're everywhere. And if you know the story about Afghanistan, the giant that they were hunting in the mountain, and all that stuff. But again, all of this is hidden from mainstream. Why are they hiding it? Okay, why are they hiding it? And also on the app, on the homeschool button, there's a channel called My Lunch Break. Okay, this guy is amazing. Does like these 15, 20-minute videos on specific buildings. They'll find a building. They'll say, all right, here's the story of this building. It was built in, 1901, and it was done in 1902. And meanwhile, today it would take us 10 years with the biggest crane equipment and the greatest supply lines to bring in marble and everything, and crews of thousands of people to build it. Okay, but they did it with no electricity, no trucks, no supply lines, wood horse-drawn carriages. Okay.
Yeah.
And he makes it hysterical. It's like one of my favorite channels to watch. And check that out. And then also another one right here. History is a Lie, and it's by I'm the Improbable Dreamer. Check him out on Instagram. All one word. Instagram. I'm the Improbable Dreamer. Okay. His stuff is phenomenal. He spoke at the last True Earth Summit, and it was a great presentation. So check that out. And then, get back to me in a year when you come out of the friggin' hole and your hair is long, you got a big beard. And so
that's really what happens though. I mean, this stuff takes you into these rabbit holes that you cannot come out of because it rips you apart and it breaks you down into a thinker again.
It makes you think, right?
You brought up earlier, people can't think in 3D. People can't think really at all for themselves. There's no critical thinking skills. There's no visualization skills. There's nothing. And part of that probably is because they are teaching us this false reality that we live in. It's like if we don't teach them to critical think, if we don't teach them to visualize in 3 dimensions and be able to, comprehend something like that, then they're not going to question this narrative we're pushing on them. Because when you do start thinking in 3D and critically thinking about the heliocentric model, it makes absolutely no sense. Because the point that always gets brought up is like, okay, the ISS is traveling how fast? 17,000 miles or whatever miles per hour.
17,500 miles per hour.
17,500 miles per hour around the Earth. And they're sending ships up there and docking on that.
Well, it's all relative. They're going the same speed. It's like 2 cars driving down the road next to each other. You can, pass a cup of coffee across if the wind doesn't take it out, but there's no wind in space, man. Come on, get with it. You know what? Yeah. The ISS is the most complicated, greatest construction project ever. They built it here on Earth. Different countries built different parts. They never assembled it here on Earth. And when they got into space, they realized, oh, you know what? The Russians built a different hatch, so we need an adapter. Okay. So they need an adapter, right? So they build an adapter and put it together. Look, it's up here and down here, right? And it was never tested on Earth. It was put together in space. It's working great. It's made out of thin aluminum. It holds pressure in no problem. Meanwhile, here on Earth, the vacuum chamber is 10 feet thick of concrete and steel, so it doesn't collapse. But this tin can, no problem, and it's just falling around the Earth. Amazing.
Yeah.
And guess what? They forgot to take pictures and video when it was being built. Okay. It would be the most videoed construction project ever because mission control would need to be able to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Not a single photo, you just have to believe. You just have to believe that it's up there. Okay. Do you know that there's a Chinese station now? There's a Chinese station that went up just recently. All of a sudden, they forgot to take pictures and video of it being built also.
Is that the footage of it? Because that looks really real.
This is from China. This is what they're showing us. It looks really real. Okay.
Their CGI is
that's for real what they're showing?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And here's the launch, right? The launches are so stupid. I mean, let me see where this one's going. Here's the launch.
Their CGI is so much worse than NASA's.
It's horrible. Look, there's no smoke here. What now there's no smoke. You get all these people looking, no one's looking at this. They're waving. There's probably a horse race or something in front of them, right? And if you look, people aren't even looking in the right directions if you look close.
No.
Now people like, I've seen a rocket go up. You see something like this, you see something and it flames out, not much higher than the clouds. Okay. Then they show you this close picture. This thing is speeding up to 17,000+ miles an hour, but they can keep it in perfect shot. And we always have this onboard shot. Now look, it's going sideways, but when they go back to the onboard shot, it's looking straight down. Okay. Look straight down. Wait, I thought it was going sideways. And then in a few minutes, they'll show you the curve of the earth. Okay, the next one will probably be the curve of the earth. I don't even remember seeing this one. Right? This is a cartoon. Okay. This is just up there. What is it? Wait, is the curve coming yet? It's so stupid. Okay. But people just believe it. They're showing you a cartoon. Right? They're showing you a dot in the sky. That's it. That's going to space. Right?
There it is. It's in space.
There it is. It's in space. It's amazing. Right? And then here they are on this 0G plane, I say, but I don't even know if this is a 0G plane. I think they're hanging from wires. There's a glass of water on the table. Okay. How's there a glass of water on the table? Okay.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah. It's like
when they make movies in period pieces and they forget to edit out a watch, or they leave a Starbucks cup, or there's a plane in the sky.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. It's like you're supposed to be in 0G and you have a glass of water sitting on the stand. Or that one video, or I guess a lot of videos where they hairspray the girl's hair straight up, and it's like, okay, I mean, I get where you're going, but in 0G it would kind of be, it wouldn't all just be straight up. It would be all over the place, right? By their logic. I don't know.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Right. So they often show us stuff like this, and this girl, she's got short hair. Normally they're up there with this long hair. Would NASA ever allow somebody with long hair to fly, in a jet, be a jet fighter? No, they cut their hair. But in space, where everything's going to float around, you're going to be choking on hairs. They allow these women with long hair up there. What are they showing? This one, second. Her hair, kind of hard to say, is just she has a.
It's not moving.
Yeah, it's not moving, and she has perfect hair. All right, this is one. Look at her hair here. Look at this long hair. Okay. Well, how would they make her hair float? Did you watch the Sassoon, whatever, some shampoo commercial where they had the girls' hairs floating and they're on the beach? Like, yeah, they could do tricks. Okay. This would never, ever, ever be allowed. Ever be allowed. Okay. Right. And then I remember one of the first spacewalks. This is 17,500 miles an hour. Guy goes out on a jetpack and he floats away and then he comes back. Well, what? Well, it's all relative. He's also going at 17,000 miles an hour and there's no air, so you don't notice. Okay. This is a guy on a jetpack. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Hell of a jetpack.
Why would they even let him do that? Okay.
No tether, nothing. That's completely against all the space movies that I've seen.
Yeah.
You always have to be tethered when you go out.
Right. Right.
Otherwise you'll get lost in the vacuum.
Right.
It's so ridiculous, man. It's absurd what they try and pull. And once you see it, it's so hard to go back. And it's so hard
it's impossible
to try
to go back.
To be normal. Yeah, it's so hard to try to be normal around people and talk to them like, yeah, it's great. Like, we're on a ball and the gravity and this and that. It's like, no, just open your damn eyes and look, feel.
Yeah.
I love the level and the next level documentaries because it's like the in the trailer, close your eyes. Do you think you're spinning? Do you think you're moving? Like,
yep.
Such a perfect way to put it because it's true. If we were spinning 1,000 miles per hour, why would I be able to sit here and relax? When you go on a roller coaster,
going that speed, they're already good. Their arguments are so stupid. The fact that we're speeding up and slowing down, you would feel it. There's people that get car sick every time they go in a car. Okay, we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66 average, 66,000, speeding up, slowing down. We're corkscrewing around the sun. We're moving sideways through the universe, and you're fine. Add 50 miles an hour to that, and you're vomiting.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so stupid. And then here's the girl. That's a good hair day. Wouldn't you say it's a good hair day? Okay. Pretty good hair day. Her hair looks nice. Right. And they work out for 2 hours a day. They don't take baths or showers. They only sponge bath. They have the same shirt, one shirt per month, I think. Okay. And it's always crisp and perfect and buttoned up. Like, what is going on? They always have crisp, perfect shirts. They get one pair of socks per week, one shirt per month, I think. It's so stupid. But check this out. Who did her makeup in space? She's got caked on makeup. Okay.
Yeah.
How's she getting the makeup on and off? Who's putting it on? Right. This is, women would kill for a hair day like this. Okay. This is bullshit. Okay. But they want you to just believe in absolute,
Well, look at the background, Dave. I mean, you can see the curve.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well,
and it's just like going up in a plane,
So she's showing how this rod that goes out with gaskets, doesn't leak, is closing this hatch. Is she looking at the hatch or is she looking at a monitor over here? She's not even looking at it. If you analyze the turning, it's not even synchronized to what's going on. This is a mechanical fitting. She's looking at a monitor to make sure that she's matching what it does. It's so stupid.
No,
right?
She's not doing a good job at all.
This is this is a horrible design.
Yeah.
Horrible. Right? And then people just want to believe it. So these are guys on the shuttle and they're pulling up to the space station and they're getting close to it. So let's look out the window. Look, what the hell happened there? Okay. This is from NASA. Look.
It's a sticker on the window.
No, it's not even a sticker. It's like a little model. It's like horribly done.
It's so awful.
This is the space station.
The video a couple months back now, but they're like, oh my god, we crashed into a comet. Watch this video.
Yeah,
it's like a fucking Atari game graphics.
Yeah.
Like, wait, how are you recording this? Because they said it was live. How are you recording this from however many million miles away, and it takes this long for our communication to travel back and forth? How are you getting this video live? I don't know. It's all so dumb.
That is, people are like, well, it's so dumb that it can't be real. They like go big or go home. That's what NASA does. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't even know what to say sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in my journey, I go back and forth between them having the mentality that they actually think we're just that retarded, that we're going to believe anything they put out. Or here's the other side of that, where they are doing this on purpose because they're sick of humanity not waking up and being stagnant the way it is. So they are doing all this dumb shit, all this evil shit on purpose to get humanity to hit that awakening point. That's where my mind goes.
I like that.
Nowadays.
I like that. I go back and forth. Sometimes I think they like it when people wake up because the rest are useless eaters to them. And they've given up on it. It's like sometimes, like, I give up on some people. I'm like, you know what? That person's never going to wake up. And I kind of give up. I can understand from a psychopath point of view, how they look at people as useless eaters. From their point of view, they kind of are, because they're not using the God-given gifts. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not
activity, your ability to think, your free will.
Yeah. They're not using it. And
powers.
And they're the fact that they give it that we give it away. People say, well, what difference does it make? I'm only one person. I can't do anything. It makes a difference. That's not true. We live in this world where it's there's a system here that they have to follow. And it's all about agreements and contracts. And if they can't take anything from you unless you agree. unless you contract, unless you accept their offers and contracts, right? Well, I had to get the thing stuck on my arm. No, you didn't. Well, I was going to lose my job. Well, maybe you should have lost your job then,
Yeah, exactly.
or fought it. Okay. I mean, there's no person that regrets not doing it, and other people are just lost in the sauce. So, so when you understand that's how the world works, you literally unplug from the matrix. The heliocentric matrix is mind control. And once you unplug from it, you literally free your mind, right? People are like, oh, how do they do it? And it's very easy how they hide it from us. Let me show you this. Okay. So this is a map of the world. All right. And, we got all the countries. Let's pretend there's no radio communications. There's no television. There's no ships. There's no airplanes. We just live here. Okay. It's whatever. And we live here. I live here in Connecticut. And that's all I know. So I go to school, and this is what they do. They took the map, they drew a circle around it, they cut out the rest of the world, and they wrapped it on a sphere. I just got North America, a little bit of South America, and they said, this is the whole world. This is all that there is. And you're not allowed to explore this white area because we have to save it for the penguins. Penguins can't be disturbed. Don't disturb the penguins. You can't even fly over it. Okay. This is where you live. Okay. And that's all there is. You wouldn't know that Africa exists. You wouldn't know that Australia exists. You wouldn't know that Ireland exists, England. You wouldn't know about anything. And GPS would keep you from going over here. This is all guarded. This is guarded here, which would be this little circle is really this circle. So you're not allowed to go past this white line. What they tell you that this white line is a dot at the bottom, a continent at the bottom. Okay.
Gotcha.
So what if I'm right about the world being a whole series of ponds, and we live at the center of this pond? Okay, right here. We live at the center of this pond, right? So here we are. You got Africa, America, South America, right? You got our sun circling around here, and we're not allowed to explore beyond this shoreline, 60 degrees south. We're not allowed to explore. They took that, they cut it out, they wrapped it around a sphere. They said, you're not allowed to explore here independently. Absolutely not. No one can even question it. And there's nothing else. This is all that there is. How would you know? We have airplanes now. We can fly. We can go anywhere. Except we can't go in here, which is really out there. Okay? So this is a prison for your mind, right? This is how they imprisoned our mind, and we think this is all there is. Hey, I want to be an explorer. There's nothing left to explore, Truman. It's all been discovered, right? They don't want you to understand the true power of your mind, who you really are, where you are. They don't want you to know that there's more resources. Okay. So talk about electrostatics. I believe the old world had harvested energy straight out of the air. No one paid for electricity. It was everywhere. It was free.
No, I saw some pictures recently. They're uncovering steel, I guess I would call it conduit, under red brick roads in Russia.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's some sort of energy grid.
Interesting.
But there's also, like in India or Thailand or somewhere, there's a Buddhist temple, and the top, which has these crazy antenna-looking antiquitech on there, was still shooting out energy. You could see the energy emanating around it. It's still active. Okay? There's like
crazy.
So there's no question. So with that type of energy, you could have a device the size of a roll of quarters that would heat your house, air condition your house, and run your car for all of your life. Okay? That's it. So now you don't have to pay for gas, electricity in the summer. Where are you guys at?
Iowa.
Gets hot there in the summer, right? So you can crank your air conditioning. You can crank your air conditioning down to 60 degrees all day and leave the windows open if you want. Okay? You can crank the heat up in the winter. You can drive your car wherever you want to go and never have to worry about refueling it. Never have to charge your phone. You have to do anything. You have all of this stuff. That's pretty cool. Would that free you up a little bit? Absolutely. You could actually just live off the land. You could, grow a huge garden and trade with your neighbors, and and so they control us with energy. They control us with the fake money system. They control us with shortages. They control us with overpopulation. Overpopulation is ridiculous, right? Every family in the world could have an acre in Australia, and half of Australia would be empty. Okay.
Mhm.
And the rest of the world would be empty too. Okay. It's so stupid.
It
It's so
is.
stupid.
It really is. So, along those lines of thinking, obviously, here we kind of know the reasons why they try to put these narratives out, these paradigms out to control us, keep us sucking on the teat of daddy government and mommy government.
Yeah.
Do you think, in your map of all the pawns, do you think there are other civilizations that are under that same control mechanism? Because if they are, it makes sense why we wouldn't have so many visitations. But with the very few visitations we have from quote unquote extraterrestrial, extraterra, uh, is that something that is probable in your mind, that they're under the same sort of control system within their little pond of life or earth or realm or whatever you want to consider it?
So there's a book, if you go to the book section on the app, called it's not the book section. That's the book section. There's a series of books actually called the Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Wall, right here. Okay. And it talks about all of these other lands, and some of them are hostile lands and some of them are friendly lands, and there's certain routes to get there, and there's certain areas that you can't go. And there's this group of people that they call themselves the not the controllers, the space forgetting, they call themselves, it'll come to me in a second. The I can't remember the word. It doesn't matter though. They're the ones that control like who goes to where. Hey, you can go over here, don't go over there. And there's friendly lands, there's little wars going on, there's hostile, there's conflicts, and there's peace, and there's beautiful places, and there's horrible places. And these are all of these other ponds that I showed you in that Nos Confundum map. Okay. If you think about it, and they say the I wish I could remember the word. It's coming. They say that every human, every person has a power called the source. It's their connection to the source. So, and if you use the source properly, you become more powerful. So you're traveling in between worlds. There's people that are saying, hey, go here, don't go there, don't go in this area. Call that a neutral zone, maybe. Okay. There's evil land, there's mean extraterrestrials, there's friendly ones, there's resources, there's trade routes. What does it sound like? It sounds like Star Wars. Star Wars, they have the Force. This is the source. Okay. The custodians. That's what it's called.
The custodians.
Okay. The custodians, that would be like Starfleet Command, maybe. I don't know. Or that's whatever. I'm getting my Star Wars, Star Trek. Doesn't matter. Okay. The book's really short. You can literally read it in one day, no problem. And it's fascinating. Fascinating. It's written as a true story that, it's somebody that had traveled to all these places. And I'm not saying it's true. It might just be a fictional version of what is true. It might be a factual version of real events. I couldn't tell you. I wasn't there. But it's scientifically possible, and it makes more sense than all of this other stuff. Always truth in plain sight. They're always telling us the truth. Star Wars is the truth. We just think they're flying through space, when the truth is we're flying over the outer space. The outer space. Now, have you guys seen my information on Kiribati?
Don't think so.
Okay. So there's marine tracking websites where you can track cargo ships. You can find out where every cargo ship is.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I have, yes. Go on though. Sorry.
So you click on any of these cargo ships and it'll tell you where it is and where it's going and who's driving it, everything. We found a cargo ship 730 miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica.
Yes. I remember this now.
730 miles. It's also 1.9 miles higher than sea level, according to Google Maps. So people say, well, Antarctica, global warming, it's melted, and he went that far, 730 miles. How is the sea almost 2 miles higher there? Okay, right? And then here's a zoomed out. Here's another one we found 905 miles, right? 2.37 miles above sea level, almost at the center of Antarctica. That's kind of where the South Pole is supposed to be, where it's so cold. But there's an active ship there. Okay. Right. So what's going on? Right. So you guys have seen this map. This is a map. The Globers will say it's a cartoon. It was found in a Buddhist temple, and it's 10 centuries old. It was published in Hawaii in a newspaper in 1910. It shows all these continents out here. Okay. What if at certain times of the world, of our cycle, of the year, of the millennia, there's not an ice wall all the way around? Right? You want to go to Antarctica, you go from here. Let's say you go over here to this continent. This is bigger than America, Canada, Mexico times 2. Okay. So if you landed here and they said you were at Antarctica, how would you know where you are? How would you know? Okay. You're not allowed to explore out here. Okay. So we go and we look here. One of those ships came from the island of Kiribati. So where is Kiribati? Here it is. I got a pin on it. It's so small you can't see it. Okay, until you zoom way in. It's literally a sandbar. America and China have given them billions of dollars. China gave it $10 billion recently. America gave it a similar number. Why are we giving this little island all that money? They say that Kiribati is a very, very important trade route. Okay, why would you need to stop there? Why would a ship need to stop there? Yeah. They're getting fuel. Okay, and on Kiribati there is the Captain Cook Hotel. Captain Cook's the guy that tried to go around Antarctica, 11,000 miles, but it took him 3.5 years. He went over 68,000 miles. Kind of sounds like he tried to go around the flat Earth, but that's just a coincidence. Maybe that's just a guy that loves Captain Cook and has no idea. Okay, and then when we look at Kiribati on the ship tracking map, they have a gigantic pier. Like, why do they have this giant pier? Oh, and the ship 580 meters long. 580 meters long, right? That's a gigantic ship. What's it stopping in Kiribati for? And all of these ships here, they have destination unknown or Christmas Island. What? What is Christmas Island? And if you know any of the stuff with Christmas and the whole tie to, satanic stuff, what is going on? Why do they all say Christmas Island or unknown? Click on any other ship. I dare you to find one that says unknown or Christmas Island. Okay.
Well, it's funny to take a step back and you're saying this ship is 580 meters long and they want to blame us for the supposed global warming and the pollution in the oceans.
Yeah.
It's like, take a look at yourselves. You're running a ship that is 580 meters long with probably 200 plus tons of cargo on it.
Yeah.
And you're going to blame me for farting in the wind.
And if you look at the old world videos and pictures, they show a lot of some really big ships that have these crazy antennas on top of them. Maybe they're ships that are running on etheric energy. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this ship, I don't know. I don't know what the ship is. So time zones on a ball would be 24 lines going from North Pole to South Pole, equally spaced because the Earth is spinning, and there's your time zones. It makes perfect sense. But they got this weird time zone over on the side here, and when we look at that time zone, it's crazy. This is like 3.5 time zones. Okay, right here. But this is a time zone line. What is this? And guess what's here in the weirdest spot?
That island.
Kiribati. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strike 3. Okay. So what is going on in here? So this is what I think. This is just me speculating again. What if it is an important trade route out here to the outer lands? They're trading weapons, food, tuna fish. Maybe that's where all our tuna fish comes, because every time I order a tuna roll, I always find fresh tuna. Everyone's eating tuna rolls. Where's all the tuna coming from? Okay. Maybe the oceans are that big, but maybe all of this is the ocean. Okay. Now, there's a lot more going on. Maybe they're trading computer chips, because if you look into computer chips, where the hell did they come from? And there was an interview recently where a guy that works on computer chips says, yeah, they're always trying to make them better. They make tiny, tiny improvements. And then there's a need for a new chip. And they're like, what are we going to do? And the CEO goes, oh, here's the new chip. Go ahead, reproduce it. And he just pulls a new chip out of a drawer. Where'd that come from? Okay. Maybe it came from one of these more advanced civilizations out here, right? We have 8 continents in here. There's 33 right here, then 33 or 30 plus, whatever it is. And then maybe there's thousands of others. Maybe these are the only ones we're trading with. Maybe there's other trade routes from here, out here, and out here, out here. Maybe there's other worlds out here. Maybe that's where the people that's where the Iron Republic is. There's on the app, on a book, there's a book called The Iron Republic. And that was written in the 1800s by a New York politician who got fed up with the system in the 1800s. And he sold everything, got a big ship, went to Antarctica, and found an opening and kind of got sucked into that opening. And they got spit out, and now they were lost at sea. The stars weren't matching up. They couldn't find they couldn't figure out where they were, and they were lost at sea for a couple of months, I think. And then they found land, and they saw a city, and they were waiting until the morning until they can go in, but there was no sound coming out of the city. And a boat came out to greet them, spoke English. It's like, hey, we're like, where are we? They're like, well, we're at the Iron Republic. We're from America. It's like, where's the Iron Republic? And they're like, well, it's on the other side of Antarctica, about the same distance as America is. And they didn't understand that. And they went there, advanced civilization, electric cars, flat screens, a whole different way the society ran. And the guy, I think they stayed there for 10 years. And the guy got married and fell in love with a girl, whole story. And then his wife died. He got distraught. He got his ship back, and he went back to Florida. And in 1901, he published a series of papers in Florida Magazine telling about his trip and the proof that he had that it's true. Well, whether it's true or not doesn't matter. In the 1800s, they were talking about more land beyond Antarctica. Okay? It's got to make you question what the hell's going on.
Well, that, and they were talking about, you said flat screens and electric cars and all this.
Yeah. And
there was very, very little talk about that in the 1800s at a time like that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I couldn't even imagine a flat screen when I was a kid. Okay. So what's going on there? It rings true. That's what I'm saying. There's so many things from the past that point to this. And the fact that you won't find any of this information by Googling, right? The problem is anyone waking up that hears about flat Earth today that says, you know what? I'm going to spend a week and really research this. They got no place to go unless they know where to go already, because Google will not serve it to them. That's what my app does. Every day there's a new featured video on the app. And I just tell people, just start with the featured video. When you get up in the morning, have your breakfast, watch the featured video, and that's it. Or watch the videos that come after the featured video, because there's a whole list of videos, right? Google won't feed you one of their videos because my videos come in playlists. All right. And so then if you have a question, like, well, I got a question. Before you ask the question, just go to the frequently asked questions page, and all of your questions are answered right here. Okay.
The first one, where is the edge?
Where's the edge? Right. Or why the lie? Great videos in here. Watch it. That's what, if you're asking why the lie, you're actually on your way to becoming a flat earther. Okay. But it's equivalent, to saying, well, why would they lie? I can't believe it with all the evidence. I can't believe it. That's like walking into a room and there's 20. This is a horrible example, but it's the best. There's 20 dead bodies, slain, blood everywhere, axes, bullets, and everything. They're just all dead, right? You walk in and you look around and you go, what's the motive? I'm not going to believe it until I hear there's a motive, right? I'm showing you dead bodies all over the globe. They're everywhere, okay? Right? We can speculate on what the motive is. It's pretty clear to me, but they're all over the place. So Dave, you didn't show me any dead bodies. Well, on the more resources page on the app, if you scroll down, one of my favorite places right here, FE experiments, flat Earth facts experiments, great videos there. This is where we did the work for you. We laid it out, not just, oh, you're going to believe a YouTube video? No. We did the work for you. We showed you, we measured, we took temperatures, we measured distances, we proved where we were, we GPSed it, we did everything. And then we show you the results and we show you how to go do it yourself. because they're not easy to do by yourself. But we show you well enough where you'll be like, I don't need to do it. They already did it, and I can clearly see that we see too far, right? And speaking of seeing too far, I want to show you just one example for somebody that may be listening. This is one of my favorites. This one right here. Okay. When you're down on the ground looking in the distance, the air is the thickest and it becomes soup after, a short distance. Like it's hard to see 100 miles. Okay. It's almost impossible. But when you're up high, air's clearer, thinner, and you can see farther. This guy took a picture and he's got all of these mountaintops. Okay. There's seven of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Right? 8 mountaintops. 8. And the tops of these mountains from this distance, factoring in his viewing height to the globe Earth calculator, the tops of these mountains should be over 40 miles below the curve. Now, there's some people out there, well, that's not how it works, right? Because you don't measure the drop from here to here. You measure it like this. So there's a hump and then it's down. So that would make it only 20 miles of curvature. Okay. 20 miles of curvature. The tops of those, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. But the tops of those would be 20 miles below the curve. But why can we see them? Well, I can't see the bottoms. Well, when you understand angular resolution and hills and valleys and all sorts of stuff, then you'll understand why you don't see the bottoms. Okay. Again, on the app, under the what we can see too far, or under boats over the horizon, we show you how that works. We show you examples, videos of it actually happening. We can show you how you can zoom things in, and sometimes you can't, and why that is, and why the distance to the horizontal eye zone that we call the horizon changes based on atmospheric conditions.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite videos, is the ones where people are on a mountain and they zoom in or they have infrared or whatever the case may be, and they're looking at something. It's like, oh, this is 200 miles away. Wait a second. Shouldn't be able to see that. Or the videos where you're looking out over the ocean and they either zoom way in on a boat or they're watching the sun set over the ocean, over the horizon. Yes.
We can see too far. That one will take you, show you the stuff J-Toll and Media is in there. With his infrared work. We can see incredibly too far. Well, you don't understand how big the Earth is. You're an amoeba on a basketball and you wouldn't see the curve. But I want you to believe that you can see boats go over the horizon. But no matter how high you get, you still can't see curvature, but you can see a boat go over the horizon. Okay. It's so stupid. Did we say that yet? It's so stupid.
And then people are always like, well, I was in a plane. I saw the curve.
Yeah. And they say that with their math, you wouldn't be able to see it from a plane, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Right. You won't be able to see it from now. They keep moving the globe post, I call it. We can see it from an airplane. No, you can't. Oh, you see it from a MiG fighter. No, you can't. Mythbusters did their thing. They're showing the curve. But one of the cameras that was inside the cockpit looking backwards showed a flat level horizon at eye level. Well, you can see you have to go up to 100,000 feet. And then we show them balloon footage. You got to go a little higher. And they show Felix Baumgarten with his fisheye lens. And well, you have to be higher than that. Neil deGrasse Tyson comes out. He goes, this stuff is flat from 120,000 feet. Neil deGrasse Tyson says it's flat. Okay. People that think flat Earth is dying, these are just the flat earthers around me on the app, on the Friend Finder. Have you guys used the Friend Finder yet? Do you have the app?
No, I'm getting that.
I'm getting it tonight. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So on the app, you can tap on somebody and say, hey, oh, look at this person. Let me check out. I can send them a message. I can check out their profile. Right. And this is a new profile section. This person hasn't put anything. I could send them a message. I could do video phone calls. I can go, if I go into the messaging, hold on. I have, there's groups, right? I can create my own group, right? Here's a group. I call it it's my beta test group. I can hit the microphone below my cover here and people can jump in and you can have conversations with people, right?
Awesome.
And it can have as many people as you want on there. This is just a test group, so I'm not sure if anyone's going to jump on, but we'll give it a couple seconds. and people jump on and you have conversations. And guess what? I've never met a blue dot I don't like. Never met a blue dot I don't like.
That's
okay?
good. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
they have to be open-minded. That's for sure.
Right. And so people are using it as a job finding app, as a friend finder, as a a dating app, or just to find people near you. Like people are like, oh, I can't talk to anybody. I wish there was somebody I could talk to in person. Look, there's probably someone living right down the block from you. Message them, hey, meet me at the pub and let's have a beer. That's how I met one of my best friends. We found each other. He actually found me because he saw me. He's like, Dave, I'm in the same town, and we met at a little pub, and now we're buddies. Okay, and it's amazing because when you're awake and aware. I'm kind of bummed that people aren't jumping on. Blowing my example here.
That's all right. This is an incredible app. Honestly,
it does.
I knew there was some of the features you've been showing us today, but this is going way above and beyond. This is definitely worth. You said it was $3.
It's $3. I got full disclosure in a second. But just why I have this one. This is a group called Origins Untold. Now it's a movie that I'm starring in that's premiering in North Carolina in Brevard County on July 31st. And I'm going to be there at the premiere. So anybody that's near that area that might be hearing this, July 31st, 2023. Hang on one second. I'm on a show. So I'm demonstrating the how it works. And are you going to the movie premiere? No, you're not, but you joined the group anyway. Okay, perfect. Thanks. Nobody can hear you. Thanks for jumping on. I was just demonstrating for a show. Peace. So it's gonna. And so I created that group because people are like, hey, where can we meet? I want to meet you beforehand. I can't keep track of everybody, so they'll be in that group. I'll be like, hey, I'm here. I'm going to be over at the little pub or the pizza place, whatever. And that way we could all meet up. Pretty cool, right?
That is super cool.
Yeah,
definitely one of the most complex apps I've seen.
And it's getting better. It's getting better all the time. And if I hit the little button at the bottom there, we just hit I think 109,000 people on the friend finder. People think that flat Earth is dying. Look at the UK. Right? These are flat earthers. Okay. All right. And look at America. Soon you're not gonna be able to see America. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn.
And people say flat Earth is dying. And I think this is less than 1% of the people because people don't even know who I am. There's flat earthers out there. I have no idea. Okay.
Yeah. Scroll over to Iowa real quick.
Iowa. Where the hell's Iowa? Over here?
In the Midwest, yeah.
Is this Salt Lake? Where am I?
To the right more. I think you're over in Utah.
Nebraska.
Yep, right next to Nebraska.
Okay.
To the right.
There we go. What is that, Oklahoma?
So I think that's Omaha.
Omaha.
Nebraska.
Okay.
So then a little bit more to the right.
Yep.
Yeah, you should be in Iowa there.
Yeah,
that's Des Moines.
Yeah.
There you go. You got a few. It's time for you guys to get together, start a group, start spreading the word.
So we're on the river. So keep going to the right.
We're on the border of Illinois and Iowa.
There you go. Zoom in right there.
Right here. You got one person.
Right now. That's like an hour from us. Cool.
Right. But these are just the people that have it on now. A lot of people turn it off and then their dot gets removed. A lot of, I would say the majority of people leave it on. But you can tap on that dot, send them a message, have a meetup. And, when people say, you start talking about flat Earth, they're like, where can I learn more? Just send them to flatearthdave.com. That's it. Because if you send them to Google it, they're going to find, phony fake Professor Dave, and they're going to find a bunch of nonsense, and then they're going to give up. But send them to my website. Tell them to take the crash course. They don't have to get the app. So the app is $3, one-time charge. However, everyone loved the app, and they started to say, hey, can you add this feature? Can you add that feature? And these extra features like the chat, they cost money. So I charge a subscription fee to use the advanced features. 95% of the app you get for $3 forever, no other charge. It's $11 a year. Okay? $11 a year.
Yeah, that's well worth supporting.
And you can I'll show you how you can get it for free, but just by referring people. But why this is up, this little pop-up, a Flattoberfest, October 21st, 20th and 21st in Las Vegas International Conference. It's going to be a blast. Check it out. The link's on the app. It's also at flattoberfest.com. And ticket prices are going up a little bit at the end of the month. So
Awesome.
So you can view the friend finder. You'll be able to receive messages after the next update without being a subscriber. But if you want to send messages, create groups, or any of that, you have to be a subscriber. $11 a year. You bought me a margarita and you forgot to tip the bartender. There's also a games feature, and the games you have to be a subscriber, but like a trivia game, and you can play 1 to 4 players. And this is just a local game. So if I set it for 3 players, here we go. Here's a question. You answer it like 3 different answers, and then it'll tell you who got it right, who got it wrong, and then it keeps score. Kind of fun, right? And then there's a memory game that's coming out. This one, it's the old tile game. You flip over 2 tiles. If they don't match, they flip back, right? And you can play different complexities, different number of matching images, different number of tiles, but you'll be able to play with other people remotely. Like you can invite.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Is it online?
Online. You can multiplayer online, right?
Awesome.
And then if you go, so let's say I'm here, I'm in operating in commerce, and I click on this person and I say view profile, and up of this person isn't subscribed. Okay. Let me try a different way. So, and I just have, I only have a beta version here because the new profile section, but if I, here, I'll just show you my profile. So this is the new profile section. It's going to look like this. And it's kind of like Facebook, right? Yeah, well, I have all my stuff here. Hey, if I'm looking for a job or I want a job, I can post it here and people can find it and search for it. And it has friends, requested friends, suggested friends. And you'll be able to, when they're friends, you can invite them to play a game.
Okay.
And then you also have you have your wall. You can put stuff on, and you can allow your friends to post on your wall or not. Okay. And it's kind of like, if you're chatting with somebody, like, let me see who this person is a little bit. You can find out information. And literally, it's just a networking way to meet other really cool people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. For $3 and then an $11 a year subscription, Most people are paying that a month for Netflix or Hulu or YouTube Red or whatever.
Yeah. And right here in the map section, that's the referral area. And when you get it, you'll have a random number here. Click the pencil, put in something up to 7 digits, 7 characters. This is DITRH, deep inside the rabbit hole. That's me. And anytime you tell someone about the app, say, hey, when it asks you if you have a referral code, put in my code. And then you'll end up with a point. And when you have 11 points, you can trade them in for a year's membership. And
sweet. That's cool.
The other thing is people like getting on the leaderboard. So if we check the leaderboard, it shows you the top 100 people that have referrals. So
I love that the number goes from like 2,000 down to.
This is my friend Caleb on TikTok, and he was going viral. He put out a video like, use my referral code, and bam, people went. But then out of nowhere, Flyover Conservatives, I did an interview with them, and they gave out their referral code on the interview. I should have told you, if you guys had the app already, we could give out your referral code. Hey, let's think of what your referral code's going to be. Tell me what your referral code, what you want. We'll tell people to use it.
Ooh.
What's the name of your show is what?
Spencer's Serenade.
Oh, that's not going to work. How about Spencer? Is that SPENCER?
It's
Spencer.
7.
Spencer.
Yeah.
You want to use that as your referral code? So download the app. Then make sure you log in and everything, it's what you set it up, go into referrals, set your thing to Spencer, which will be up and ready before you air this. And anybody that downloads the app because of the show, when the first thing the app's going to ask you, do you have a referral code? You can say no. There's no difference to you. Put in Spencer. Let them know. Let them get a point. So he can get on the leaderboard.
Awesome. Yeah, listeners, if you're out there and you're going to download this app, please use referral code Spencer.
There you go. Capital S, Spencer. And then also you can find the app. There's already a knockoff. The Globers have put out a horrible app that a lot of people end up buying, and they're like, "This app sucks, Dave." And I'm like, "You bought the wrong app. Make sure you give them the proper feedback." And so just go to flatearthdave.com, click the banner at the top, and that'll bring you to the right app. If you have an iPhone, just search Flat Earth. It'll come right up number one. It's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay. That's the name of the company. It has to say Blue Water Bay. Just go to flatearthdave.com. It's all there.
So, Dave, a couple more questions here. Have you heard of the guys that have made the Tychosium model?
Who is this? Remind me. Maybe I just don't know the name Tychosium.
So Tychosium, he presented this model of the solar system maybe in the late 1800s, I believe it was.
Tycho Brahe?
Yeah, Tycho Brahe.
Yeah.
That's who it is. The Tychosium model is the 3D generated program these guys made. Sorry, I had that confused there. So yes, the model Tycho Brahe presents, and this model, this 3D representation that these guys made in this program. Have you looked at that? And I know you're not so much as a planetary guy, but in that model, the Earth is the stationary object, and everything else is orbiting around it. Is that how do you feel about that? Is that something that's like?
You can make a geocentric. If you're stuck on the globe, you can make a geocentric, which means Earth at the center solar system with planets and everything. But when you look at, planets and gravity and everything we talked about and a million other things, none of it makes any sense. It's scientifically impossible. It breaks every law of physics. Okay. Show me, people like, Dave, you're always talking about Morland and Kiribati and this and that. Why don't you talk about the facts? Because you know what? The facts are done already. The water lies flat. Large bodies of water lie flat, period. Okay, there is no measurable curvature. Anyone that tries to measure it finds out we can see too far. Okay, and that wakes up enough people right there. You can't have high pressure next to no pressure or low pressure without a physical barrier. It can't happen in a lab. It can't happen in nature. It can't happen on Earth. Gravity, they go, well, the air gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner until space. Okay, that's baloney. That happens in a tank of gas. If you have a half tank of propane, it's liquid at the bottom, it's thicker gas in the middle, it's lighter gas at the top. Okay? Take away the tank, put a hole in the tank anywhere, and the entire thing dissipates and fills the available space. Well, gravity's holding it down. Well, how come gravity didn't hold it into that tank? Well, the air pressure around it isn't as much. Baloney. You can take you got a box and you suck all the air out of it. So you have a box, which is a vacuum, a void. At any altitude, anywhere, ground level, high, doesn't matter. If you open up a valve on the side, bottom, top, left, right, doesn't matter. It's going to violently fill with air. Violently. It's going to equalize to the air around it. Gravity holds the air down. Now, what's heavier, an air molecule or a water molecule?
Water.
Well, if gravity's holding the air down, how the hell do clouds form and hold up trillions of pounds of water? Okay? How does that happen? Electrostatics. That's how it happens. Okay? Electrostatic vibration. That's how it happens. This realm is amazing, but it's not a gravitational beehive nonsensical bullshit model.
Okay. Yeah, where I was kind of going with that is, do you think those are the people, like the people getting into that, the Tycho Brahe model, are the ones that are like on the edge? They're like, yeah, I don't want to seem like a flat earther. Yeah, I don't want to be called a flat earther. So I'm just going to go with this geocentric model that the Earth is the center of everything, but I still believe it's a ball because I don't want people to judge me.
Well, I'm judging you. I'm judging that person. Okay. You think you live on a ball? You're retarded. I'm sorry. Okay.
I don't know that. So that one, I think there's just a slight disconnect between minds like yours and minds like that, where they have pieces of the puzzle, but they don't have the full puzzle done. You have that full puzzle done. You've done the experiments.
I don't have the full puzzle done. We know that this Earth is a level, horizontal, topographical, three-dimensional plane. Okay, so it's not flat. It's a level plane. Okay, and it's three-dimensional. And if you stop with all of the fictitious arguments. The global arguments they're all fallacious. Every single argument they have is fallacious, and they'll never back down. You show them a flat Earth proof. Well, give me 900 different variables: the water temperature, the air temperature, the air pressure, the time of day. With the exact GPS coordinates. A globe proof. That's all you need. Oh, Jaron said interesting in a movie. That means the Earth is a globe. Okay, I mean that's all. That's all they need. It's so disingenuous that the paid actors, the ones that are out there doing it, that are being promoted, they're so disgusting to me. They're literally out of my vibration. I don't see them. I don't listen to them. I don't converse with them. I don't respond to them. They're nonsense. Okay. They're nonsense. I'll address anybody that wants to have a real conversation, has a real question, but the ones that are disingenuous, they're not worth our time. If they won't
they're really not.
When you show them, they say, if you take a picture from an airplane and then condense the picture on your computer, it'll show a curve. Well, they don't understand how we see. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't understand that we see in a big giant curve. I see 100 miles that way. I see 100 miles that way. I see 100 miles that way, that way, that way, and that way. That's a big circle. Condense it together and you're going to have a bulge. They're going to say that's Earth curve.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, even just sitting here, if you just focus on one thing and you kind of notice your peripheral, it's in a circle already. I'm in a square room.
Everything is in a circle, right?
Yeah, I'm in a square room right now, but my vision is circular. If I'm just focusing straight ahead of me and I'm paying attention slightly to my peripheral, it is curved. It's a big ball around me. And what's behind me, I don't know, because it might be the simulation not rendering behind me. Who knows? Luckily, I have the camera on me so I can see behind us, but
right. So we, nothing shows us curvature. When we see, the sunlight going across the water, well, that's a flat floor, right? That's a flat floor. It doesn't work, right? Where are we going there? And so here is a curved floor. You have a pinpoint of light. And then when it's flat, come on, flatten out. You get the light that we see across the water. Okay?
Yeah.
It's curved. It's just, you see a pinpoint of light. A pinpoint of light that matches a curve. This is matches what flat is.
And that's drawing 101.
But Dave, the light posts, they get shorter when I'm looking down the road. It has to be the curvature.
Yeah, that's a well, you got me there. Earth is a globe. Right?
There's your proof. 3 Bitcoin, please.
There you go. Here, let's do it. Let's play a little game here. So here is an illustration, and the clouds are up high. Right? Perspective brings them down low. We got the water, you got the sailboat, you got the pier, you got the light posts getting lower and lower, smaller and smaller. You got some grass. Now, you could say the grass is either the same level as the pier, or maybe it's a little higher, maybe a foot. Who knows? Can't really tell. The water's got to be lower than the pier. Otherwise, it would be going over the pier.
Mm-hmm.
And the horizon appears to be at our eye level, but we know that it's, 6 feet below our eyes at the least. Sailboat, okay. Can you see that there's something different in this picture? Let me ask you a question. Is this point of the pier higher, lower, or the same height as this grass?
Well, as we established already, it should be a foot below the grass.
Okay. Is it higher or lower than this light?
The
lower.
The end of the pier, you're asking?
Oh, this light, the end of the pier or this part of the pier. Any part of the pier, is it higher than this light?
Oh, it'd be lower, yeah.
Okay, ready? It's the Great Pyramid of Egypt. Okay. So this is really way high in the sky, but this is how we see the world. Okay. You don't know what the hell you're seeing. Kind of looks like a pier. Wait a minute. It's a pyramid. How high? It's super high. Right.
I like that example. That's pretty cool.
All right. Got another one for you. You ready?
Yeah.
yellow, orange, and red lines.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the highest one?
Well,
In yellow, I would
the
assume.
yellow would be
Okay. Which is the shortest one?
the yellow.
So the red line's the longest one.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
The red line is lower than the yellow one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here I am on a deck, and this bush is 5 feet above the deck. So this red line is 5 feet above the deck. This orange line is the level of the deck. So this orange line is 5 feet below this red line. And then the beach is 10 feet below, there's another 5 feet below the deck. So it's 15 feet below this line. And the water is this yellow line is 15 feet below this line. This yellow line is 15 feet below this line. Look, this line is 5 feet above the deck. The deck is, this is 15 feet above the water. This is the level of the water. This is how our eyes see. This out here is probably several miles. This here is probably 20 feet. And this here is maybe 6 or 7 feet. So this is the shortest line. This is the longest line. Okay. Now that I totally tricked you, let's see if you were paying, let's see if you were paying attention. Okay. So we have this line here. We got this orange line. Okay. And we're going to add a couple other lines. I'm adding some more lines, right? Okay. Which is the highest line? This one or this one?
It'd be the bottom one.
The bottom one.
Bottom one's the highest line. Are you sure?
No. But
No, you probably inverted the picture.
So no, these are lines of all of the streetlights, which are all at the same height. So they're all at the same height. I checked you.
Gotcha.
I checked you. Okay.
I like these. These are really cool because they're so simple, but the point that it gets across is so powerful.
This line from this light to this light, this little section of this line is longer than this line because you can't even see the light over here. Okay.
Yeah.
It's longer. This is how our eyes see. They don't teach you this stuff in school. There you go.
Yeah, like I said, the message that these send is so powerful because it is something so simple that you can't comprehend until you see it like this.
So I'm on a boat here and I'm close to these trees. So the trees are clearly above my head and this building is 10 miles away. And I can't, this is where I see it behind the trees. Now, if I went 20 miles this way, away from the building, now on a globe, that building should drop down lower and lower over the curve. 20 miles, there's plenty of curvature. There's 66 feet at 10 miles. It's got to be like 150 feet or something. Okay. Right. Or maybe, I don't know. It's a lot of curvature. But as I go away, this building gets taller. Okay. As I go away, it gets smaller, but taller because this line, that line I have isn't going over the trees anymore. It looks parallel to me. This becomes my new horizon. And those trees are way above those buildings are, I can see them more because I'm not being cut off by looking up at the trees. So, if I have the real picture of this, where is it? I don't have the actual picture, but I have an actual picture of it close where it looks like those trees are at eye level, but I know they're 100, 150 feet above my eyes. And then from 26 miles away, I can see much more of the building. Okay. When the building should be below the curve of the earth, but I can see more of it. That only works on a flat earth.
It's so fascinating. And it really is. At this point, it is retarded if you believe in a globe.
How dare you say that word?
But man, I mean, so obviously the Flat Earth Society puts out that stupid ass picture of this disc. If you had to plant your flag, what what would you say we live on? Is it something like the pond idea, or is it possibly an electromagnetic crystalline structure that's held in or held in an equilibrium by that magnetism? What in your mind is it that we live on?
We live inside of a toroidal field on the dielectric plane of existence. We are spirits, spiritual energies that are inhabiting these avatar meat suits, and we are experiencing this realm opening, increasing the mind of the creator. And our mission here is to reach the highest intellect possible and share it with others. And once you understand that, everything changes. The word boredom, does it have any meaning to you anymore? Have you ever been bored since 2018?
At times, yes, but that was because I was lazy.
Yeah, because you're lazy. I'm
Yeah,
never bored because I'm always research. Like if which never happens, if I have nothing to do, I'll go research more. There's so much more.
yeah,
Check out the giant trees section. Mind blowing stuff. Now, does more work need to be done? Absolutely. Am I making any rock solid claims? No, but rock, that's funny. Everything turns to rocks. It's amazing. It's amazing. But again, this is I think this is a better illustration. So here's the boat. I can only see the very top of that building because this tree is blocking my line of sight, right? But when
yeah.
I get farther away, I can see more of the building. Okay? Because my line of sight, these trees get lower and I could see more of the building sticking up. So here it is from 8 miles away. Here's the building. And here it is from 22 miles away. And if you look here, this would be my horizon. That would be up here. So 22 miles away, I see more of the building. Earth is flat.
Well, it's
Yeah.
concluded.
There you go.
No, I really love how you just put that in the bringing up toroidal fields. That's such an important subject to get into. It's so damn complex, though. We've had Ford and Mike from Phi Tribe doing basically creating toroidal fields to accompany your body and change your frequency in your body through music. And I'm sure you know Dave Zed talking about how everything is a fractal in upon itself, and that's the toroidal field just spiraling downward, constantly imploding upon itself. And we live in such an explosive driven world rather than implosive. Again, going back to everything is inverted. Um, if we want free energy, why are we exploding things when we should be imploding them upon themselves? Energy works in that fashion much more efficient and naturally than it does in an explosive fashion.
Right.
But that's such a complex topic to get into, and I'm taking baby steps into that. I am such a newborn at exploring toroidal fields and the potentiality that exists in this world and how that affects decisions day to day and your free will and your choices and what you think are your choices and what you think is free will and what you think is your environment. All of that gets so damn complex when you look at it from that perspective, but it's the perspective that makes the absolute most sense.
In the homeschool section, Schooling the Globers, if you really want to deep dive into some of these topics, including that, check out Schooling the Globers. It's our guy Austin Whitsitt. He is a super genius when it comes to this stuff, and this is advanced. Not when I say advanced, it's like each video is like 2 or 3 hours, but it'll give you the full understanding of the topic. And basically, he literally shuts down every globe argument. And the other thing is, when you search for flat Earth and you're like, oh, Professor Dave said this and said that on the more resources page, if you scroll down to debunking the debunkers, every video they have there is fully shown here. Oops, not what I wanted. Including the top one right now is the behind the curve hit piece where they have Bob with his ring laser gyro, proof that the Earth is a globe, nonsense, and Jaron saying interesting, which proves the Earth is a globe, and highly edited. But this one gives you the 3-minute explanation of exactly what happened with a little bit of behind the scenes information. And then you can be like, if anyone goes, well, they proved it in a Netflix documentary, just send them that video. Done. Finished. Okay. And then there's everything else. Well, I saw Dave Weiss get destroyed by Professor Dave. No, he didn't. Watch this video here. Flat Earth Dave humiliates Professor Dave. Okay. And it's done by a neutral a guy analyzing the video for logical fallacies and ad hominems. And David scored, Professor Dave scored more ad homs and fallacies than anybody ever in history. So watch it and don't let your mind be controlled by the dipshit that calls himself Professor Dave. Let it be controlled by logic and reasoning. Awesome video.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. You're incredible, Dave. I mean, this has been so intriguing. I love what you're doing with the app. I know you're in it for the right reasons, and it's just getting back to that heart-filled mission in life to be a truther, a true truther. Not this truther that the mainstream is painting everybody to be. They always take these powerful terms and pervert them and invert them to make it seem like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, you believe in nonsense, oh, you're a truther. I mean, that one blows my mind, especially that people are calling other people truthers as an insult.
Yeah, are you a truther? What are you? What are you, a truther? It's so.
I mean,
so
what
inverted.
the hell?
Yeah,
that's the most ridiculous thing ever.
People don't understand. They don't understand what's going on in this world, and that's how they get away with it. That's how, Dave. What the difference does the shape of the Earth make? With all the other important things. So these are people that are woken up to lots of things, from the New York plane thing and the Sandy thing in Connecticut and the Boston Marathon thing and all this other stuff. With all this stuff going on, why does it matter? And the reason, excuse me, losing my voice. The reason it matters is because the globe lie is the reason they can get away with all these other things, because people are lost in space. People don't know who they are. They don't know their power. They don't know how this world works. They're afraid. They think that everything's running out, and they believe in in all the nonsense that's being pushed out there, and they live in fear. And when you live there, you have no power, and that's what they want. They just want your spiritual energy. I don't believe in spiritual wars. Well, that's also how they win, because it is a spiritual world that we live in. And until people wake up and take back their God-given free will, they're not going to have any.
Very, very good point. I mean, it is all spiritual, connecting with God. We were actually going to do a Connecting with God episode on Friday, and we didn't end up doing it, but I think this is why this is a perfect ending to this, on why flat Earth needs to be addressed, why these lies need to be addressed, so you can take your sovereign free will, God-given free will back. And whether you want to call it God, creator, source, the one, whatever name you give to the divine, it doesn't matter. As long as you're connecting with it, as long as you have that faith in it, and you're using that faith to power yourself and power your life and go through life to be a better person, to gain the most intellect you can possibly gain, factual intellect, not this propaganda bullshit that they're pushing on everybody. But yes,
the people, and I use that term lightly, that run this world, they want control of your mind. And a population that knows for a fact that a creator, whoever you are, whatever label you want to give that creator, exists, and it's undeniable, they're not controllable anymore, right? But if you live in a heliocentric world, you can believe in a creator. That's great. You can also not believe in a creator because you have another option. But when you see the flat Earth, it's not that it's flat, it's that it's intelligently designed. And the more you dig into it, you can see that it's benevolently, intelligently designed. for us, and that we are at the center of creation. And you no longer have the ability to deny the creator. I denied the creator all my life. I was just like looking for it. I'm like, I don't buy it. And then when I discovered flat Earth, I'm like, oh fuck, there's a creator, and I had to deal with it.
Yeah,
and that's
there
where
has to be.
And then people say, well, you have to be a Christian or you're going to hell. Yeah, you have to be a Muslim or you're going to hell. You have to forget it. You understand there's a creator, and that's no one else's job to tell you what your relationship with that creator is. You need to find it. Now, if you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew or whatever, and you think that you have the best connection, set an example. Let that person see your example, and they can choose whether to go in that direction or not. I think there's a lot of directions to go, but they all go to the same place. And you just have to follow God's law, which is natural law. Don't kill anybody, don't steal from anybody, and be nice to other people. That's it. Okay. And there's more to it. There's more to it. You have to have a relationship with the creator. Okay. That's it. Mm-hmm. This universe, there's a huge conspiracy. The universe, not the heliocentric universe, the world, the realm is conspiring to give you everything that you think. People have a lot of bad thoughts, and that's why their life goes to crap. Okay. So you need to watch your thoughts, because your thoughts create your reality. It's conspiring to give you everything. And if you get really good at manifestation, you really better watch your thoughts, because they happen immediately. Okay. Imagine a world where everything you thought happened immediately. Well, you know what? That will not be good right now, because there'd be like dragons flying and asteroids coming in. Because people can't control their thoughts, because we've been programmed with the television programming and the movies and the nonsense and everything. Okay, we've been programmed with crazy thoughts. That's not how people were meant to think. People aren't thinking; they're being programmed. So we need to get your thoughts under control. Get your connection to the creation, understand it, seek ultimate knowledge, and share it with others.
I love that. What a way to end this episode. Dave, tell them one more time where they can find you at.
The only place to go is flatearthdave.com. That's actually not even a website. It leads you to the flatearthpodcast.com, but people can't remember that because they forget they're like, what? The flatearth.com. Flatearthdave.com. It takes you there. You can also go to areyouabluedot.com. You can go to flatearthjew.com. It takes you to the same place. That was for Owen Benjamin, by the way. I made that. I have like 20 websites that all point to the same place, but flatearthdave.com, easy, because they call me Flat Earth Dave. So flatearthdave.com.
Awesome. Well, I'll link that down in the show notes. I'll put a link to your app. This has been spectacular. Way above expectation. I love this. I love this topic. I love you as a person. I love the mission you're on. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And
don't forget, if you get the app, put in Spencer as the referral code. That's the first thing that's going to pop up. When there's a whole bunch of just accept the proper permissions, because it's going to want to use your location. But I don't want it to know my location. Guess what? Well, one last thing. The location thing, it actually puts you within 5 miles of your actual location. It offsets you by default. You have to tell it to give your exact location if you want. Okay. And there's no really need to. 5 miles is close enough. And then the other thing is, if you go somewhere, it's not going to update your location until you tell it to update your new location. So if you're afraid of being tracked by people, get my app, because it's going to confuse the fuck out of them. They're not going to know where you are. Okay. Yeah. Right. Like if I went to Hawaii and I updated my location and I came back to Connecticut, it would still say I'm in Hawaii until I tell it, hey, update my location. Right. I think it'll update like a couple of weeks later, or if it's bizarre. It just doesn't, it's not a great way to track. So if you're afraid of being tracked, and again, the other thing is, when you're not using it, if you're paranoid, turn off the friend finder, and you're no longer even within 5 miles. Right. So belief is the enemy of knowing. Where do I live?
On a flat earth.
Where do I live? I told you where I live. You forgot.
Oh, Connecticut.
Do you believe it or do you know it?
I don't know. I believe you do. You
Because you
showed
believe
that
me,
you
because you think I'm an honest person, and I'm telling you. And but to know it, you'd have to do some work. You'd have to go
I
online,
have to
find me on Facebook, find
come
my
find you.
friends.
Yep.
You have to go check my high school. Oh, like I found his high school. Oh, here's a recent picture, and then you can check the metadata, and and like, yeah, he's in Connecticut. Now you know it. Okay, I'm in Connecticut.
Mm.
Okay. And so people don't if we had to verify everything in life, it would be extremely difficult life. But the problem is, we're trusting beings, and we don't want to check, but there's a lot of liars out there. And
Yes, there is.
and so you have to just really be careful. I say believe nothing, verify everything, but trust. I'm not going to live in a world where I'm not going to trust people. I'm going to trust people until you burn me. Okay, that might be my problem, but then I know you're off the list. I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt.
That's the way I live my life now, and it's really helpful because it is something that's like, until you show me that you're not trustworthy, I put my trust in you. I will listen to you. I'll hear you out on what you have to say, but as soon as I catch you lying, you're done. We're cut off. No more.
Right.
But again, thank you so much for this. This has been great.
Are you coming
Hang
to
out
Vegas?
after
You coming to Vegas?
sadly, I will not be able to make that, but I wish I could. But stay on for just a second after I stop the recording.
Okay.
Listeners, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure, if you just listened to this, head over to the Patreon and rewatch it. There's so many visual presentations on here that help the conversation so much. So go check that out. It's free to everybody on the Patreon. But you know the deal. Check us out at all our links. Check out our Detox affiliate, Christian Yordanov, and have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you next time.